Hello and welcome to the Enlightened Leadership video of the week. Hi guys, I don't know if you read this week's article or not, but if you did, I reassure you that what has just happened will make a lot more sense. Why is it that when we sometimes look at people in the face, that affects the way that we feel? This is something that I realized a few weeks back when I was working with my fiance, Nieja, to come up with a small video that was essentially an interview that was going to help people see what kinds of questions people ask me when I'm working with them one-on-one about what it is that I actually do. And what happened during that interview was that the day before I got lots of questions lined up and I was really happy with what I was going to answer and how we were going to film it, and we had it all set up. I even had 2 camera angles, super fancy, and we sat down to get started. We were in this room where I normally film my videos and stuff, and something really weird happened. Nieja started talking to me. She asked me the first question and I just froze up. I got super stiff, super anxious, and all my responses were really robotic, were just not natural, and everything felt like a struggle. And the more I tried to push through and just continue, the worse it got. And in the end, we were in a position where we were just not enjoying the process at all. She wasn't enjoying asking me the questions. I wasn't enjoying answering the questions, and we stopped. And I got to thinking, what is it that's just happened here? Like, how has something very normal and natural for me to just talk in front of the camera like this, or to answer questions that I would normally be asked anyway, get me into such a place of anxiety, stress, tension, and really just the whole thing was just really super serious and stiff. And I spoke with Nieja and I said, you know what, I said, I feel like I'm not able to communicate with you because in my mind you already know all the answers. In my mind I'm telling you something that you already know and that you're not really interested in listening to. And so she just very quickly and intuitively grabbed this blanket and placed it over herself and said, how about I ask you questions while I'm under the blanket? And I laughed and I thought, okay, let's give it a go. And so we started, and magically enough, when the blanket was covering her, the ability to answer the questions was easy. One, I found it really funny and humorous, and 2, there was this neutrality about the situation. I could no longer see her face, so I couldn't see how she was reacting to my questions and sort of grimacing as I was struggling and worrying about how I was coming across. I couldn't see anything. So it was just this very beautiful, neutral experience that was also quite funny. And so the questions came easily and the answers came easily, and we wrapped up really fast. And it was all complete pretty much in one take. And it made me think back to, what was it that essentially allowed that to be possible where before it was impossible? And what I came to see was that when we take other people's input and we look at people's faces and we're considering how we're being heard, and we're thinking about whether or not they're interested in what we're saying, and we just get wrapped up in our head and we get all serious and concerned about how we're coming across and whether they're interested in what we're saying, that with our focus is totally away from the creative enjoyment focus that we want to have when we're presenting an idea. Because if you've ever listened to someone present an idea and they're just in a very happy, joyful state, an engaged state, then it doesn't really matter what it is they have to say. You kind of enjoy what it is they have to say anyway. But when someone's presenting something and they're really caught up and tense and worried about it and making sure they say the right thing, it's difficult to listen. And that was kind of going on inside my own head. I was weighing up and judging, key lesson there, whether or not she thought what I was saying was important. And so I was essentially judging myself. And another thing that was really important that Nieja said to me was, Ryan, if what you teach is true, then you can lift up, light up, and be that enlightened leader in an instant if you choose to think and look in the direction an enlightened leader looks. And that's always in our state of mind. It's like, how is my state of mind right now, and how is it affecting my ability to perform? And in that moment, my state of mind was way off. It was in a place of insecurity, trying to come across as I knew what I was talking about, trying to come across like I was interesting. You'll get the part of the sentence there, trying to come across, trying to put on a front, trying to demonstrate something that is never necessary. And so my state of mind was way low down on the spectrum of consciousness. So you can be right up here and you can really in a high state of consciousness, really high mood, joyful, fun-loving laughter, and I was way down here. The moment she threw the blanket over herself, my state of mind raised degrees. I was laughing, I found it funny, and it became neutral. And so the whole thing just got easier. And I wonder where in your life right now may you be up against something similar, where something that you're normally good at is feeling like a struggle, feeling like it's a challenge for you. You're trying to change circumstances to make things better, but really what's going on is that your thinking is way off. Now, if I didn't identify that my thinking was way off, Nyezha would never have threw the blanket over herself. She wouldn't have come up with that creative idea in the first place. If I would have been in a place of blame, I would have said, oh, it's your fault, it's your face that's making me go this way, or it's the room, or it's the camera angle, or whatever. But it wasn't. I knew that how I was interpreting this was what the problem was. How I was thinking was the problem, not the situation. And because I knew that, I was able to explain that to Nyezha, and then she didn't feel like it was because of her anymore. She just was like, oh, okay. Instantly a creative idea emerged. And this is what happens when we're able to take responsibility for our own thinking. And this is a big key element of enlightened leadership. It's about being able to take responsibility for our own state of mind, how it impacts the way that we do things in our life, in our work, and then being able to creatively work with how our mind actually works and use it to be able to come up with creative solutions that allow us to get the job done. And that's essentially what happened here. So I wonder, I'm going to throw it out to you guys, what is one way which you can use the insights from this video today in your own world? What kind of challenges have you got that you're up against that if you were able to raise your own level of consciousness and jump up to a more light-hearted place, what if you could just get to neutral first instead of it being this big heavy thing? That's what I've found to be super effective. If you're up against a challenge, first things first, question your own state of mind. How is your thinking in that moment? Is it all inwards and self-reflective on how am I looking, how am I coming across, what are people thinking about me? Or is it I'm enjoying myself, I'm really in the moment, I just feel relaxed? Like, you'll know the difference. Second thing is, if you're in a low state of mind, if you're in that insecure place where you're focused on yourself and how you're coming across and what people are thinking about you, get to neutral first. Don't try and get to super happy, get to neutral first. The blanket neutralized the expressions on Nyezha's face completely. And so that allowed me then to get from bad mood to neutral and then to happy and joyful and lighthearted. And so what could you do to get to neutral first and then scale up to happy? And so I'm going to leave you with that for now. Let me know what you think about this video in the comments below. Be sure to hit subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and I look forward to talking to you all again really soon for another enlightened leadership video. Take care.